By now, you have probably heard about that brutal kidnapping of 4 Americans in Mexico. Well, U.S. officials confirmed today that 2 of the 4 Americans who were shot and taken by gunmen are back on U.S. soil. But 2 others are dead, and their families are desperate for answers. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez has more.
Tonight, the 2 Americans who survived the brazen kidnapping are back on U.S. soil after a harrowing few days. Latavia Washington McGee, seen here today in an ambulance, is among the survivors. Her mother, who spoke with her directly, tells NBC News. The violent abduction caught on camera. The victims dragged onto this white pickup truck. The FBI says gunmen had opened fire on the group shortly after they'd crossed the Texas border into Matamoros, Mexico. Today, authorities confirmed 2 of the Americans had been killed.
We extend our deepest condolences to the family and loved ones of the deceased.
McGee was joined by her cousin, Shaid Woodard, and friends Zindell Brown and Eric James Williams on the days-long trip from their homes in South Carolina to Mexico for what a law enforcement official familiar with the matter says was a cosmetic medical procedure. Mexican authorities say Williams also survived, but was shot in the leg. We spoke with his wife, Michelle, today by phone.
I didn't know anything until Sunday morning when the FBI came. Everything just seemed so surreal to me.
She says she spoke with her husband for a few minutes today before he went into surgery.
I am very happy that he's alive, but I'm also heartbroken for the other families who can't say the same.
She says the 4 were childhood friends taking the trip together to share driving responsibilities. So-called medical tourism is on the rise. Pre-pandemic, an estimated 1.2 million Americans traveled to Mexico each year for elective medical treatment, mostly cosmetic procedures and complex dentistry. But Matamoros is in the Mexican state of Tamaulipas, which the State Department classifies as Level 4 Do Not Travel. Violence there has intensified among warring factions of the notorious Gulf Cartel. Today, the governor of Tamaulipas said one person who was guarding the kidnapping victims was arrested. They were found in a wooden house in Matamoros, and over the past 3 days, investigators say they've been moved to several locations, including a medical clinic, to create confusion.
The cartels are responsible for the deaths of Americans, and we are fighting as hard as possible. The DEA and the FBI are doing everything possible.
With me now is retired 4-star Army General Barry McCaffrey. He is normally here talking to us about the war in Ukraine, but tonight he's tapping into his time as the former director of the Office of National Drug Control Policy under President Clinton. General, 2 people are dead, 2 people were shot at. What in the world happened here?
A minor data point in a violent, ongoing struggle for the domination of Mexico's territory. Maybe 20–30% of Mexico is under the control of the cartels. There may be as many as 200 armed groups who may not be involved in the drug trade, but are extorting or murdering Mexican citizens. So it's a real nightmare. Those cartels are capable of putting together battalion-sized units of 700–800 narcos with heavy machine guns, armored vehicles, and successfully confronting the Mexican army. The place is out of control. The President AMLO has a goofy policy, hugs, not bullets. And what's essentially happening, Stephanie, is the cartels are the principal criminal enterprise inside the United States. So it's a very, very dire situation.
Then how dangerous is Mexico right now? Are there specific parts of the country people should avoid? I mean, spring break is here.
Boy, I tell you, I get asked that all the time. Half of the Mexican states are under a travel advisory from the U.S. State Department. All the border states are avoid travel. 5 of the Mexican states have the same level 4 danger classification that the State Department uses for Afghanistan, Syria, and Iraq. There is no justice inside Mexico. Their law enforcement tend to be corrupt and incredibly incompetent and dominated by the cartels. The Mexican Marines will fight for the state. The Army also. That's the only tools left to really provide security inside Mexico.
So is there anything we can do to make people safer, or it's another country, not our jurisdiction?
Well, we got to pay attention to it. You know, it's an astonishing situation. The people-to-people contact with Mexico are absolutely superb. There's no question that Mexico is a family-oriented, humble, hardworking nation of incredible economic importance. As you know, it's the #1 trading partner by some counts. Mexico and Canada are the only two vital nations on the face of the earth. So we got to do more. And right now, all we've got is fairly low-level contact between U.S. law enforcement and prosecution and Mexican authorities who we think we can trust. But the state of affairs in Mexico is dire. You know, you're probably going to be safe if you're an 18-year-old college boy or girl headed to Cabo for spring break, probably. But there are no guarantees, and Americans get murdered down there and get abducted and extorted every day of the week. So it's a very tough situation.
It is a very tough situation, and these 4 people who went down there, it is a tragedy that 2 lost their lives. General Barry McCaffrey, thank you for joining us tonight.